Hi guys, I welcome you to Mom and Baby Wellness, and today we are going to cover this subject, and the title is, can high levels of folic acid cause autism? So, and make sure you also subscribe. So guys, I welcome you back. My name is Nasteri and I'm so glad that you're here. And today we are going to cover this topic that I've talked to you about. It's folic acid and autism. So folic acid is also called, some people also call it folate, but they are very different things here. But to begin with, let's just refer to it as folic acid, folate, and it's also known as vitamin B9. So for now, let us call it vitamin B9. So vitamin B9 comes in two forms. There is the folic acid and folate. Folate is, the active form of vitamin B9 that the body can use, and this mostly comes from foods such as broccoli, all green leafy vegetables such as spinach, some kales, amaranth, all those green leafy vegetables, and some others such as broccoli and cauliflowers and all those. So from these natural food sources you get folate, and that is the natural active form that our bodies can utilize and use it in that form. And again, here comes folic acid. Folic acid is a synthetic form of vitamin B9 that you get as a supplement. So you go to your obs-gyne and he prescribes to you a folic acid supplement or vitamin B9 supplement, and now when you take this synthetic form, it's called folic acid. So note the differences. Folate comes from natural foods such as broccoli and some green leafy vegetables, and that is what our bodies love to use, or it's the most active form of vitamin B9 that we use. Folic acid is the synthetic form that the scientists make, and that will help us to get folate from. And one thing that you should know about folic acid is that when you take acid, it has to go to the liver, and then there has to be an enzyme there that will break it down or metabolize it to release some active form of this vitamin B9, which is now what your body can use, or it's what your body really understands. So there's a process. So almost all of the folate that you take, that is from the foods, natural foods, is metabolized in the intestines, and it's activated, and you're ready to use. But the folic acid that you take as a supplement has to go to the liver and metabolized there into an active form of folate now that you can now utilize. So I wanted you to learn the differences between folate and folic acid so that you're not confused. So folate is from the natural foods. Folic acid is the synthetic form of vitamin B9. Folate is the active form of vitamin B9 from natural foods. Folic acid is the synthetic form of vitamin B9 that you take from supplements. So notice the difference. So can you taking very high levels of folic acid cause autism? Know that when you're pregnant, or when you're trying to conceive, it's highly recommended that you have a lot of vitamin B9 or adequate amount of vitamin B9, because it's very vital for development of your baby's spinal cord and the brain. And you need this especially when you're trying to conceive. When you're trying to conceive, it's good because folate is vital for boosting your chances of being able to conceive, egg quality, regulating your cycle, and all that, and all those things, your menstrual cycle. So that is very nice when you're trying to conceive. And when you're pregnant in the early months, first trimester, it's also very vital because it will help in developing your baby's brain and the spinal cord, as I've told you. So what happens if you take very high levels of folic acid? As I've told you, I am responding to this comment that somebody made, and I want you to learn from it. So high levels of folic acid, which is the synthetic form of vitamin B9, is not good for you, because when you take very high levels of folic acid, which is the synthetic form, it will, there's some problem with the metabolism of this folic acid there, and that is why you should not take very high levels of folic acid, because when you do so, this unmetabolized, or this folic acid that has not been broken down into its active form, will freely be running around or just moving around in your blood, and it will cause a very high level of unmetabolized folic acid in your blood, which is not a good thing. And one of the side effects of you having these high levels of unmetabolized folic acid in your bloodstream is that it causes, it has been linked to women who get children with hyperactivity disorder. And you know that the autistic spectrum disorder also has these children who are also very hyperactive, or they are very hyperactive, and it's also linked with behavioral disorders. So this is not something good. And as far as talking about autism is concerned, this has been linked to these behavioral disorders and hyperactivity, which is something that is very common in children who have autism. So I want to say that also very high levels of folic acid and metabolized folic acid in the body or in the bloodstream has also been linked to developing colorectal cancers and also insulin resistance. So you can get a child who also, or you even yourself, are developing high blood sugar levels because of taking so much folic acid. So nowadays, certain foods such as grains and all those things have been fortified. So for example, I have this maize meal right here. I don't want to make this video so long, and when you look at the nutritional information right here, I don't know whether you can see something, but or everything will be upside down, I don't know, but there is no this maize meal has been fortified with all these vitamins, and as you can see here, there is some folic acid. So the folic acid here is 0.6 milligram, and I want you to understand that the highest tolerable dosage, or the highest tolerable levels of folic acid that you should take in a day should not exceed 1 milligram. And this maize meal has about 0.6 milligram, and per kg, and this is a 2 kg, so it has about 1.2 milligram of folic acid. So if I take some of this, whatever, if I make some ugali, which is a local delicacy around here, I take these, and then I take a bowl of maybe let me say like whatever cereal, like Weetabix, which is also very much highly fortified, and maybe I take my 5 mcg of folic acid, which my doctor had maybe recommended. How much folic acid am I pumping into my body? So you need to consider the foods that you're taking, which have already been fortified with folic acid, and also compare with the dosage that you're taking, which is in your prenatal multivitamin. So take note of this, because if you take higher levels of folic acid, you can get, especially when you're pregnant and throughout your pregnancy, then you're likely you can get a child with autism or hyperactivity, this hyperactivity disorder, the behavioral disorders, which is highly linked to high levels of unmetabolized folic acid. So even us all who are not pregnant at the moment, we also need to take care of what you are eating, because all these fortified foods have so much folic acid, and it's not even good for our bodies, because high levels of folic acid to people who are not even pregnant can cause insulin resistance, as I've told you. So it will increase your chances of getting diabetes type 2, and also increase your chances of getting colorectal cancers. So can high levels of folic acid cause autism? So from the research that I've read from, and those researchers that I've studied from, yes, it can cause autism, and it's highly advised that you not take more than 1,000 micrograms of folic acid. But my advice is take as much from the natural foods. Take a lot of green leafy vegetables, broccoli, and research a lot of foods that has the active form of folate, because it is natural, it is active. That is what our bodies can handle, and that is what God intended when he created these foods, the green leafy vegetables, because he knew that that is what our bodies can handle. So this synthetic folic acid can have detrimental effects if you take them in high dosages. So check the fortified foods that you're taking, and also check the dosages in your prenatal bottle to check how much you're taking in a day, as it should not exceed 1,000 micrograms. And this 1,000 is the highest, so it should not even go beyond 600 micrograms. So it should not even exceed 600 micrograms. So be aware, be informed, and take as much natural foods as possible. Avoid this fortified stuff. I know maybe right now it's not possible because most grains and all these things have been fortified, but we can limit the amount of these fortified foods by checking the nutritional content behind there, so that you are sure of what you're taking. So I thank you so much. My name is Nasteri. Subscribe, like, share this video, and I'll see you in my next video. God bless.